Welcome to Rebel Radio, conversations with allied health leaders about the careers that shaped them, not the bio, the backstory. Today is the first ever episode of Rebel Radio, and alongside me is my wife, Georgia Sheridan, who is also my wife. Is also my...
You just said that.
Did I say that?
You did.
It's very important. It's an important thing to say. So wife, my business partner for Rebel Recruitment and now Rebel Radio. And we decided to have the first ever episode to introduce ourselves.
For sure.
We didn't think it was, just to kind of create a podcast and just start from the first guest. We thought we introduce ourselves. Today's going to be quite interesting actually because I'm going to be the host of Rebel Radio. Yeah. I'm going to be meeting amazing allied health leaders across Australia. Some who I know very well, some who I'm about to introduce myself and meet. So it's going to be an amazing couple of months a couple of years. Who knows how long this is going to go for? So it's going to be an amazing time, and I think it's going to be fantastic for anyone who comes onto the podcast to talk about their stories and introduce themselves. But like I said, today's going to be a bit different.
Yes, I get to be the interviewer.
Yeah,
today.
you get to interview me.
So you have to answer what I ask.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to probably keep it very conversational because,
sure.
My story is basically your story as well. It's our story in a lot of ways. So we're going to really introduce ourselves, why we're doing Rebel Radio, I guess where my origins and my career started through Rebel Recruitment. And
well, let me take over then.
Okay, yeah,
it's
sure.
My turn.
Sorry, apologies.
So, Chris, tell us, what is Rebel Radio? Why are we here today? What are we doing?
All right, so let's rewind a little bit. So, what was last year? 2025.
It was. Awful year. No, not awful, but it was a lot.
It was a big year.
It was a big year.
It was a big year. We had our second baby at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And what happened was we really moved from the part of, it was the third year of Rebel Recruitment. So Rebel Recruitment is a recruitment agency that I do recruitment for all across Australia, helping allied health professionals find new roles. And I decided to really go national last year, to go from WA based and operating to Australia based operating or Australia operating. And one of the biggest things I wanted to do was have a presence on the ground, and that meant having gone to events, being a big part of different networking events and stuff as well. So very hard to do it with two kids, two little babies actually.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And
it was a juggle.
It was a juggle. So what we did was I partnered with Serena at Allied Health Awards Australia to do a networking series with them. We were their sponsor, and got to go around Australia to meet. I just get to go to these different networking events really. When I think it was like one night, I must have been staying up 2 a.m. I think baby might have been up and everything, and I was just thinking to myself, how can we make it really cool to go to these events and give something a little bit different to the industry? Yeah. And that's where I was like, maybe we could do like a little short form interview. With different people.
Different.
Exactly. So meet different people, have a quick 5-minute chat, and have a little conversation about the allied health market. Yeah. So that's where Rebel Radio was born. And then as it kind of got a little bit bigger, I was like, maybe we could turn this into a long form podcast and make it an actual thing. So that's where it all started from.
Yeah, amazing. So what is Rebel Radio in terms of like, who's listening? What are we talking about? What is someone going to get out of listening to this for?
Yeah. So this podcast is for allied health professionals. Anyone who has studied a allied health career and have gone all the way through to starting their own business and running a business now that's either, it doesn't have to be like successful, is such a hard way to determine what things are, but I guess just a grown-up business, having a team of therapists and a team of allied health professionals as well. Sure. So kind of going from the ranks from the start to finish. Right. I want this podcast to be about them, about the story. I don't want to talk too much about, we can talk about whatever really, but it's going to be more about that person, how they got to that position. Yep. So then anyone who's a student to that also a business owner, in that whole career way, they could get something out of this journey. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. One other last question before we stop talking about, the about section of Rebel Radio. But obviously, you've been in recruitment for a long time now. Why now? Why are we starting a podcast now?
Yeah, I think it's more just to give a platform to allied health professionals. Yeah. I think there's so many, like I said last year, we went to all these events and I was meeting all these great people. Yeah. And, I think the industry as well is like, I feel like there's so many humble people. There's so many people who are like, don't want to have the spotlight on them. But then you have a conversation with them and you see how smart they are about they're knowledgeable about the industry. They know about where things should be going. They have all these amazing ideas. So I feel like so many people could learn from these people and trying to give them a way to kind of like get their brand and their platform and their business and their network to see, and new people to go, wow, that person's really awesome. Yeah, amazing. It could go from like people who are interested in pediatrics or aged care or whatever it is. Get these people to have a chance to have a conversation about their lives.
Yeah, for sure. Now, our most frequently asked question Rebel. Rebel Recruitment, Rebel Radio. Why the name Rebel? What does this mean to you?
Yeah, so Antartis is my last name.
Right.
And in Greek, that means rebel. So it was when I was starting Rebel Recruitment, I was trying to figure out what the name should be. And obviously I'm thinking about Antartis and maybe call it Antartis Recruitment or something like that. And I just knew that my whole life they always mispronounce it, they misspell it. So therefore, how many people are going to make the mistake in my email address or whatever it is. So I thought, well, I could call it Rebel Recruitment. And then also because I've done recruitment for I've had a few jobs before I started Rebel Recruitment, and I'm definitely not someone who is a cookie cutter recruiter. I'm definitely
absolutely not.
No, I'm definitely
not a cookie cutter anything really.
No, not really. So I thought to myself, this is a good name to kind of like, I guess, stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
And also the branding. I mean, a lot of like healthcare recruitment agencies in a lot of ways are like that white. Like very nice and I guess like softer looking, and I try to make it a bit more bolder and darker kind of colours and tone as well, because I really want to stand out from everyone else to be the same.
Okay, so before we rewind and get really stuck into it, why was it so important to you that when you were doing Rebel Radio, it is focused on that person and their backstory as opposed to their job title and the companies that they're working for? Yeah,
so like Rebel Recruitment is a people first. We have a people first approach. And I think I want that to kind of like go into Rebel Radio as well. I really want to know more about the how they start, why they started in this industry, why they started, to work as a business owner, why they started hiring team members, and finding out more about that person.
Yeah.
Because, we can easily talk about their careers and that's easy. We can kind of probably see that from their LinkedIn profile or, probably other keynotes they might have done in the past. But I think it's important to find out why people do things as well. It gives, I feel like, because I do a lot of work with new grads and students, so therefore when they talk to me about why, I ask, why did you do it? Why have you got into this kind of career? And it's so interesting to hear people why they've done it, and it's more about their personal lives. And I want to know more about why people are at the business owner stage or that leadership stage, and why they've kind of got to that level. So I want to hear those kind of stories. Yeah,
more about how they got there, not where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And 100%. I think just removing like I said, the business stuff or like the work stuff, and really finding out about why they're there personally as well.
Yeah, amazing. So staying in that same lane, it's now time to turn it on you.
Yeah.
So
turn it on me.
Go right back. So, for everyone listening, they may just have seen you on LinkedIn. They may know you just as an allied health recruiter. We're going to talk a little bit about who you were before you are Chris from Rebel Recruitment. Yeah. So what were you like in high school?
High school? I was probably, I was very social. I ended up just being like best friends with my teachers. I literally just tried to get through year 12 and, just become best friends with my. I remember.
Were you a good student?
Was I a good student in terms of what, academically, or? I mean, I definitely felt like I knew enough about what to do, but did I want to be there? Not at all. I just wanted to play sport. I wanted to party.
So academics were never your thing.
No, it wasn't my thing. Yeah. No, it wasn't my thing. I didn't really care for it. I didn't like school because it was more like, I don't really care about the classes I was doing.
Right.
The two things I cared about was drama. I like drama, which was like, and the reason why is because we got to do shows.
Sure.
And we also got to do camp. That was the only thing in our school to do, because I was at Belmont City College. Yeah. And at Belmont City College, the only camp that you could do.
A little Belmont shout out there.
Yeah, a little Belmont shout out. But yeah, you could only go to camp by doing drama. So I was like, that's cool, because I get to go somewhere and have a bit of fun and do that. And then also sport. So I used to become best mates with my gym teacher. So I used to try and get wagged some classes to go do some more sport classes. So no, I wasn't good
at it. So not a great student then?
I think I was all right. But yeah, no, so I was like that at school. And I just kind of like I said, befriended my school teachers to get, how do I pass? Like what do I need to do to get a C- to finish year 12?
Yeah.
Got through it, and it was a bit of a struggle to get through it, but I got there in the end.
So super social, not super academic focused.
No.
But still relationship focused, it seems.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? When
do you
think
think
about it?
At that age you were thinking much about the future at all, or were you just totally focused on the present?
Totally focused on the present. Yeah. Football, cricket. That was it.
Yeah.
Parties on the weekends, what my friends were doing. Yeah, it was just literally all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moving on from high school into your early 20s, what did life look like for you then?
Yeah, so I got a job working as a TA.
Was this straight out of high school?
No, it was like I had a few like forklift jobs, and I had about, I reckon, maybe 15 to 20 jobs from like 18 to 20.
Right.
So I had a lot of different jobs, just like doing like, TA, labouring, pick packing, all
super like blue collar.
Super blue collar, all manual stuff, right? And then I eventually worked I got a job as a TA.
Yeah.
And like I was like literally 5 minutes down the road from my house. Like it ticked a lot of good boxes for me.
Yeah, it ticks those boxes when you're 18, isn't
yeah,
it?
well, at 20, I was like, this is like, I've had a lot of jobs now, and I don't. And I think I just got my driver's license as well. I took a while to get my driver's license.
Yeah.
So this was like perfect because I could like, just walk down there and like, I think I got my driver's license at the same time. So it kind of just ticked all the boxes. And then I ended up going into customer service from a TA.
Sure.
So like,
how did that happen?
One of the customer service managers his name's Geezer. So if Geezer, you're listening to this, I appreciate it. But he just looked kind of like took me under his wing in a way. He just said to me, you should come do some customer service, and then when I got in there, it was like all 50-year-old men and great guys, but they were just slow typers and things like that. And I used to like be on the computer, MSN, MySpace, different generation. So I used to just like type out heaps of things, and they just call me Banger because I just bang out all these different orders.
What a name!
Yeah, I know, right? So so I ended up becoming customer service, and as that went on, I went to like from customer service to like sales as well, and just kind of had these like little. What is the word? Kind of just like I just started growing in my, I guess, customer service and sales career, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was at a pneumatics company, so that was where I liked doing what I was doing. I was good at what I was doing, like doing all the orders and calling people and talking to people. But pneumatics was never a passion that I had.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if someone hadn't met you during that time, early 20s, who would they have been meeting?
They would have been meeting a young, fiery guy who I love. I'd say
now you're just an older, fiery guy.
yeah, exactly. The fire's still there. It just comes in different in
the
waves.
youth is not.
So I played a lot of sports still at that age, and I guess it was like I was always wanting to be really good at what I was doing. Yeah. But I never had, I guess, from like sport wise, I was always really.
So it was competitive.
Yeah, competitive, driven. Like I said, like fiery. I always wanted to be really good in these areas, and then even like.
I think you should really change those words from really good to the best, because let's just call it for what it was. That's what you've always wanted. You've always wanted to be the best at whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. Really good's never been enough.
No, it hasn't. You're right. I guess, I wanted to be the best at that, like football, soccer, cricket, everything I played. And then I guess it was also, that's why I said about not having a passion in what I was doing for, the work-wise, because I wanted to be really good. I wanted to be the best at it. And I could kind of see the numbers. And I was really just wanting to be the best with the numbers. But I just never cared for pneumatics or what I was actually selling. So people were saying to me, no, I don't want a product. I'd be like, yeah, cool. And then my sales manager's like, no, you got to like,
sell.
obstacle, you got to go
Objection
back.
handle,
and I'm like, guys, I don't care. Like if they don't want it, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always had that struggle with that.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So you've talked a little bit about your work in your early career. So obviously prior to Rebel, so you kind of started off doing that blue collar physical roles, and then you moved into customer service. What happened in between? How did we get from customer service to Rebel? What other kind of jobs, careers, what played a part?
Well, we had a big, we traveled. So I remember we went to an Indian restaurant.
Sure.
When was it? Like 2015 maybe, 2014, it would have been around then.
Yeah.
And I just sat you down and said, like, let's go traveling.
This is so funny because I swear I sat you down.
No, I sat you down.
All right,
it was my idea.
Okay.
And it was more because like we were young, we've been together since we were 17. And I think we'd have been like 22, 23 at this point.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself.
So we'd already been together for 5 years at that point. That's a long time when you're early 20s.
It is. Yeah. And it's like, far out, what do we do now? Because we're probably going to get, we're heading into a path where we're going to get like, pretty good jobs. Like I was about to become a sales rep.
Sure.
There was like.
So you had that natural progression following on from the customer service to go into external sales.
That's right. And then it was like, okay, we're heading down this path. You were working, full time for, I think it was Acacia. But you had to do like a lot of work to get to that level. And it was like, we're just heading down like careers, potential careers at that age. And it was like, I just started seeing it like, in 2 years' time, we're probably going to have a lot of money. What we're going to do with it, we'll probably buy a house. Yeah. And I just don't think I was ready for it. Yeah. I don't think I was ready at 23 to like settle down. And that typical settle down in terms of, we're going to have kids. And I was just not ready for it at that age. So
it's really such a kind of like common path, especially in Perth.
Yeah, in Perth it is, for sure.
Like obviously now like you're about to say, like in our travels and stuff, there are a lot of other people around the world who are not thinking about doing those things at 22. Yeah. But I think you're right. Like we've been together for 5 years. You were kind of in stable jobs. It was that kind of next step was like, okay, we'll buy a house, settle down, really.
Yeah, get married. Yeah. You know, and yeah, so I just said to you, like, let's go traveling. Let's go away. And I said there was like, I remember it was July 2016. Or June 2016, it was the Euros in France. And I was like, that was like that would be so
That's
cool.
Your thing.
I was like, let's go.
Sure.
So I thought if we're going to travel, I want to go see some pretty cool sporting events.
Yeah.
So that was like my target. We could save up all this money to go there at that point. But I think it was a bit too close for the amount of money we wanted. And we were like, okay, I also think the working visa as well. We could get a working holiday visa in Canada.
Sure.
And your sister was heading there as well. So we said, why don't we go instead of going to France, why don't we go to South America and then get a working holiday visa in Canada after that.
So I guess fast forward a few years, we save up a bunch of money. Yep. We book our one-way ticket off to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Rio.
Go and watch the Olympics. Our families are going. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks we're crazy.
Dad's losing it. A lot of people were losing it, to be fair. So we went to Rio. Went there we travelled South America for 4.5 months. Central America. New York in Christmas and New Year's. And then. Yeah, we ended up...
And then we ran out of money.
Ran out of cash, yeah.
Basically.
And we had a working holiday visa ready to
America will do that to you.
Yeah, especially around that time. Especially around that time of year.
Yeah.
So we ended up moving to Toronto, Canada in 2017, early 2017. And got jobs there. I worked in a bar. Basically, I played Australian footy. Yeah. So when I was like traveling and stuff and I got to Canada, I was like, I wouldn't mind playing footy again. Yeah. And I looked at
such a good way to like build that community and meet people.
Well, I didn't really think of it like that. I just kind of wanted to play footy and just,
that's
like...
your thing, you like doing it.
Yeah. So I went to training and it was like the middle of winter there. So you have to go to like a dome, like indoor dome, and I went to training and one of the boys just said to me, where are you working or anything? And I said, I'll be just like trying to find a job in a bar. Yeah. And he goes, the coach is a bar owner in the middle of the city.
Perfect.
And he got me a job because I played footy and he's the manager, he's the business owner. So that was cool. It was meant to be, yeah. And that's also, they were called the Toronto Rebels as well. So I was like, that's the reason why I was like, I'll go Rebel. I'll play for the Rebels because I was like,
another little tie back.
Yeah, exactly. And so we lived there for 2 years. Yeah. Worked in a bar and it was a great learning in terms of like, how differently it's operated in North America and Canada compared to how we live in Perth and
but also
the culture
just
of it.
People skills working in bars, hospitality.
Yeah, because you worked at a bar as well, as a server.
Yeah. It was just, you're just dealing with people all day, every day. Yeah. So, it's, so then we're in Toronto, we do 2 years there, time to move back, come back. What does work look like for you when you come back? We
came back to work a little bit to go back to Southeast Asia, so did more like TA labouring work. So I went back to my old job and got to do some like pick packing work, which they needed some help with. So it worked out pretty perfectly.
In there to get that quick cash.
Yeah, they knew that, I knew that, so it was a really good like kind of situation. Yeah. We travelled again for about 3 to 4 months, and then when we came back, you already had a job lined up from the work you had before, and I found a job that was just pure commission, door knocking around.
So let's talk about this. So how do we get into this?
Well, I applied for a job.
And what was the job? Did you apply for a door knocking job?
Absolutely not. I think I got conned into this, but they basically said like, if you like sports and you like sales and you like this and you want to do like, have something like dynamic, apply for this role, and you go into this like, so like I apply for it, then they meet you. And the interview is like, like really cool, like vibe,
cool.
You meet like some really cool people. And then you start your first day like, oh shit, I'm going door knocking today. That's what I'm doing.
And what did you think when you realised, right, this is the gig, fully commission, door knocking, getting doors slammed in my face every day, trying to sell things that people haven't asked me for. What was your thoughts? Most people would just throw the towel in at that point.
There wasn't much thought to it, to be honest with you. I remember meeting the people and I kind of trusted the people.
Right.
I think I remember the two like directors there were just so like, not charismatic. They were charismatic, but they were just like such good talkers. Yeah. And I went on the road with one of the bosses, and she was just like amazing in how she could just do it.
Yeah.
She made it look so easy. And you have a pitch and then they basically said like, if you want to, so you go out on the road at like 2 o'clock in the day.
Sure.
But then you can come into the office at 8 or 9 and train on how to talk to people. And it's all about learning. It's all about match and mirror. You're speaking to receptionists. You're speaking to, because I did business like B2B basically.
Sure.
And
for people who don't know what B2B means.
Yeah, business to business.
Sure.
So you're just basically walking across around St. George's Terrace if you're in Perth.
Down corporate areas.
Down corporate areas, you know, just walking around, knocking on doors, finding yourself in elevators, pressing all the buttons to try and get up to all the different...
You're a pest.
I was a pest, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, but it was just a great way to learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
And in a very, you know, in a quick situation, like they go, what are you doing here? I said, well, my name's Chris and I do this.
Yeah.
Right, and have to figure out how to sell something to someone like that is intense.
And how to build that rapport.
Yeah.
Instantly, so they don't just walk you straight out the door.
Yeah, exactly. So I learned that, and I did that for about 7 months. As we moved into 2020, obviously it was like COVID time.
Sure.
The world went a bit nuts, and with door knocking, like not many people want to see you door knock as well, and they don't like it.
No, kind of illegal at that point. I think.
It's frowned upon door knocking, and then you throw in a bit of COVID into the mix. No one wants to be knocking anyone's doors.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially that time of the as early as it was. So yeah, that's when we all lost our jobs because of that. So that's what ended up happening in 2020.
Wow. How, at that point in your life, how much of your identity was tied to work?
None. Zero.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Knowing you now.
Yeah. Nothing. Zero.
Yeah.
Not a big.
Which is what you did to make money. To
exactly
get money.
Right. Yeah.
To go and live the life that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And in terms of the life that you wanted to do outside of work, what did matter to you during that period of life? What was your fun, enjoyment?
Just traveling, wasn't it? Well, you just like, you know, we used to just buy tickets to go travel. You know, we used to go like beaches.
But like aside from travel, obviously weekends, after hours, what were you doing?
Yeah, beach, like being around the water. just having a drink like with friends and stuff. Like it wasn't really too, it wasn't too intense. It was just more like either go away, watch sport, you know, have a drink or go to the beach. Like that was like the main
kind of
things I wanted to do. Yeah.
Were there any moments during that kind of early adulthood period of your life that you questioned the direction you were headed in?
No, not really. No, I never questioned the direction. I always kind of felt like I always had the right skills in whatever I did. And I just kind of thought like, oh, well, whatever happens, happens, you know. As long as we get a bit of money, that's fine, just so we can live our life. I was very big on that. Even when we were working in Canada, there was like so many people that like local, you know, people were like, oh, I just don't want to do this. But I never had that identity to what I did. Yeah. You know, they were like, oh.
But were you ever thinking like, what am I going to do for a career? Or like, did that kind of ever come to you? Or were you just taking it day by day?
Taking it day by day. I think, you know, when I was working as a door knocker, because like they really did trying to create this whole environment of like, you know, running a business and like a business within the business type thing, which I kind of liked a bit about it because like your days, because you're on commission, right? So you have to, you're running your own team and you know, you do all that business stuff, but it's like, I never really cared for it. It wasn't like, oh, I want to run a business one day. That's my life goal. It was just more fun and just enjoying it. So
at this point in your life, recruitment comes into the picture. Is it something that you're drawn to or is it something that you fall into?
Fell into. I went to footy training, or I think it was, footy training.
So you were still playing footy?
Yeah, well, I got called back to play footy. So my old footy club said like, hey, it's COVID, you're in Perth, what are you doing? I said, nothing at all. And they said, why don't you come back and play? So, and that was really good. I got to go back and play some footy again and play for a few more years. But then, met someone there and they were like, and I said, what are you doing for work? I said, nothing. I was like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a recruiter. And I said, sweet, give me a job. And then
How many times have you heard that line?
Oh, so much. And then he goes, well, I do tech recruitment. And I was like, what does that even mean? Explain to me what tech does. Like, that's the situation. Like, he's like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to do sales because I've done sales for like the last 7 months now and door knocking. And I said, but I don't really have a passion because even when I was doing door knocking, I never really cared for like what the product was or anything. And he said, well, why don't you just do recruitment because it's like you're technically selling, but you're not actually having a product to sell. Right. You're just dealing with people, which seems like what you would like to do. So I said, yeah, sure. So then I applied for a recruitment job and, got in. Yeah. This is September 2020, I think it would have been. Yeah. And then, we did that. We got married in 2021, early 2021. Yeah. So that was basically just trying to work to get as much money and get to that point.
So what was your first kind of experiences going into recruitment? Obviously something you'd never done before. What were the people around you like? Was, similar to you or were they completely different?
Yeah, I was at a massive recruitment agency. I think it was like 100 recruiters in this company, all the different stages of life in all areas. And it was a bit different. I mean, I think for me, because I was like 27, maybe 28. Yeah.
And what recruitment were you doing at that point?
I was on blue collar manufacturing. So this was a desk that hasn't been touched for a year as well. So no one's been contacted for a whole year. And it's basically everything to do with blue collar, but not mining.
Yeah, okay.
And in WA, that's just like,
Yeah, right.
it's a disaster because everyone who does that can, like, you know, works in a trade, ends up wanting to go into the mines. So yeah, it was tough.
And then how did allied health recruitment become an option for you?
I quit. Well, I didn't want to quit, but I was about to quit, and I saw this other recruiter.
Why were we quitting? Were we done with recruitment? Were we done with blue collar?
Firstly, the way recruitment agencies work is all KPI driven.
Sure.
And it's all about how many people
And a lot of
you can
businesses
call.
are.
Of course it is, yeah. But the KPIs, I think, were measured in this, like in most recruitment agencies, it's just like, it's hard to measure what's correct and what's not, but I just don't believe in it. Like it was measuring on like how many calls you made, how many, like, you know, things you do. And I just thought, like, I could do all those calls but not make a placement. For me, made no sense. And anyway, the culture of it for me wasn't right. I mean, it was a very young, there was a bit of like, I guess, like a party culture. And like, I like the party and stuff, but it just wasn't the right fit for me. I ended up reaching out to a recruiter to get another job.
Sure.
Caught up with her for a coffee, and she just said, like, why don't you, like, instead of doing blue collar, you might have some better skills in like white collar.
Right.
And at that time, I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, this ain't really working anyway. So let's just try this out.
Yep.
And then one of the jobs was an allied health recruitment job. Yep. And I think in the first week I made a placement. So So that's why I was like, once I made that placement, I kind of knew, this is probably more my fit.
And obviously coming from the blue collar field where you were kind of done, walking into allied health recruitment, what was it that aligned with you so much?
I think because it was in allied health, money is obviously very important in every other job. And I think in blue collar, when I was talking to people, I say like this job would be like $50 per hour, and they said, well, I can go work in the mines for 70.
Yeah, okay.
And there's no point. And I said, well, but do you have family? And I used to try and say like, what's the reasons why you'd want to stay in Perth? And even though there's reasons for it, they just didn't want to do it. As with allied health, it was like, yeah, I can find you a job at 80,000, but there's another job at 77 that ticks more of your boxes. That's like, caseload, location, supervision and support. And that means a lot more to people than it does an extra $5,000.
Yeah.
So that's what I liked about it. There's so many different angles that you could talk about, and trying to find out what that person likes. And then it just makes the whole recruitment process more fun because you can meet people who are like, yeah, but I want to travel 2 minutes down the block. So I have to find someone that's so close to, and that's going to be the most important thing. So for me, I just got to enjoy that part of the recruitment process because we weren't just talking about the one aspect. Because if I found a job if I just found a job in blue collar that was paying $100, I'd probably get more people to recruit for. But then it's just like, well, is that really a skill that I have, or is that more of just the fact that I got a good company I can work with? So that's the thing.
Absolutely, yeah. So looking back now, you're working in allied health recruitment. What do you remember? What was the moment or decision that really kind of changed the direction of your career?
The moment was me and my manager not getting along. And this is when I realised it's probably not the manager, it's probably me at this point, after I've been in different jobs over my whole life now and probably having the same issues with my managers. I'm like, geez, it's me, I'm the issue.
It is you. Yeah, you are the issue.
You know that. And I got to a point where, because...
Why are you the issue? Tell me.
I don't like being told what to do. That's a big one. That's my wife.
I do.
And I think another thing was like, I know I could do things a bit. I think with the allied health part, the recruitment, I got invited to do like a university presentation. I used to go to different expos and walk around the expos and basically just like meet as many people.
Thinking about the expos, that's where really that door knocking resilience comes in, right? Because I remember when you were doing those expos and not a lot of other people were keen to come and do that type of thing, but you'd been basically already had experience doing that. Were you just walking around talking to strangers? Yeah,
well, in door knocking, you speak to 60 people a day or 50 to 60 people a day to get 2 sales or something like that. That was like the goal. You'd go out and you have to hit 50 to 60 people and you just count your numbers and all that. Yeah. As you go to an expo, speaking to 60 people, is probably about right. You probably see about, different stores and different people, and that was easy. So I used to just go there. And I love that type of stuff. But then again, back to the KPIs in a recruitment agency, make your phone calls, put your job ads up. And for me, and anyone who knows recruitment in allied health, posting a job ad is just like, you're hoping for the best in a lot of ways. And I didn't find that to be the most successful recipe. I was like, meet people and get to know people on a more important, intricate level. So I pitched that to my manager. I said, like, we should be good on this, I should be jumping on podcasts. And she said no. And I was like, okay, fair enough. and then I think as well, I met about 3 recruiters in the same week. I met 3 people at different random events that were all running their own recruitment agency. And by the third one, it was someone that we actually were friends of a friend with.
Sure.
And he just said to me, he said, you just need to start your own agency. and I'll give you all the documents that I have to start one up, and you go for it.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is a sign.
I remember that time so clearly because, like you said, you were kind of wasn't really gelling with your manager, and you were kind of trying to think like, how do we make this work? This is a good job.
Yeah. What did you think at that time?
Yeah. I mean, I think I too was thinking you are the problem because you were.
Thank you.
But like, not in a bad way. But firstly, you don't like being told what to do, but you are different. Like you're just not the same as most people. And that's not a bad thing, but it kind of got to the point where we were like, right, you are a square and we just keep trying to fit a square into a circle here. Like we keep trying to put you into these molds that work for most people, this kind of traditional employment model, and it just didn't work for you.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with what your manager or your companies were asking you to do. Like, this is our process, follow our process, meet our targets, and like it just wasn't what you wanted to do.
No, it wasn't what I wanted, no.
And, you always tell me I'm woo-woo or whatever, but I am someone who, like, I believe in, like, things happening for a reason, everything's meant to be, blah, blah, blah. And I remember at that time, you met these people and were saying, these people are business owners, and they've said, like, have you considered starting your own thing? And I was saying to you, like, these are, like, expanders that, like, come in to kind of, like, open your eyes to, like, what could be possible for you. Yeah, so I remember you had that conversation with your manager. It didn't go too well. And I remember you called me, and I just remember thinking, like, this is meant to be. This is meant to happen. Like, if that conversation had gone well, you would have stayed there forever. You love the company, you love the people, the location, the culture, like, all those things were really great.
Yeah.
But the fact that it wasn't working, I was like, there's something else meant to happen here. And that's when I was like, I think you need to do this and give it a crack.
Yeah, and I did.
So then talk to us about the transition. So you decide, I'm going to go at it in your own. How long have you been in recruitment at that point?
Oh, maybe it would have been coming up to 2 years.
Right. And we just find out we're pregnant with our first child.
Yeah.
So like any normal person, you go and quit your job.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you do, right? That's what I got told anyway. We talked about it though, because I think you're amazing at admin. Like you're fantastic with like documentations and like, formatting things.
Right.
And my skill set is not that. My skill set is definitely meeting people and networking and, creating those relationships.
Sales also.
Yeah, I guess sales. Yeah. That's what it is, right? So, but that's my skill set. My skill set is to meet people. And I said, I can recruit, I can go out there and find business and I can find candidates, I can get jobs. I'm a good recruiter for this space, but at the same time, recruitment is such a hot, like even business, you're not just doing one thing, you're doing a million different things. And because we're looking at the time frame, we're probably going to start like, in 6 months' time. When we launch like the agency, you'd be on mat leave, we'd probably have our baby.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out well though, because I said, well, if that is the case, and maybe, you can help me out, even though you're going to be a mum, you can also help me out with some like resumes and terms of business.
I was on mat leave, so I was still getting paid, but obviously had, as much spare time as you do with a newborn, but it could help.
Yeah. And that was a really like it was a helpful and awesome thing.
And when we started Rebel, what was the goal? Like, what were you thinking? What did you need to happen in order to go, yes, this has worked. This has been successful?
I think, well, the key, obviously having a baby changed everything, because when you had like all those appointments, like before, I really wanted to be there at every appointment. And even when we first had our baby, like going to like all those like midwife appointments, and we had all these other like things that we had to do for when you have a baby, vaccines and stuff like that.
Sure.
I wanted to be there for all of it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure that we had like a holistic approach from like, the business is important, but life is just as important as well. And having like those two together, like an appointment like that is in my calendar, and I get to go to that.
Yeah.
And I think that was the most important thing at the start.
Yeah.
And then obviously financial, we obviously had like the numbers to figure out what to hit to start off with. And at that point, it was just like WA. Like I just want to get clients that I knew that I liked working with to place with them and just help them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think anyone who does business will know that it just keeps growing and growing. And then trying to think about different ways to like get more admin, get more help, like recruit.
So you've gone from being a recruiter to being a business owner in a fairly short period of time. What part of that transition was hard for you?
I think, I'll be honest, I think being a business owner is way more I feel like I'm a way better business owner than I'm a recruiter.
Yeah, right.
And I'm a pretty good recruiter, but I definitely think I'm a way better business owner just because of like who I am as a person. And I definitely have really like crazy ideas sometimes.
You definitely do.
I come up with ideas all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, the way I am as a person, just from a business owner perspective, I'm just a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite easy to follow. I actually found that part to be easy. Probably the hardest part of it was, I guess, like, you know, becoming a business owner for the first time, you go, wow, okay, there's actually like a lot of people who don't like that. You know, a lot of people who are like saying, throw shade at you.
Yep.
And that was a bit like, wow, that was a bit random. I didn't expect that. And I guess also like balancing the recruitment and the business owner.
Yeah.
Like probably that was like the biggest thing, because it's like, yes, I could be a recruiter and I could do all the recruitment, but also if I'm going to grow a business, how do I like actually, because I think, but I was actually, that's why I said I'm actually probably better at that part.
Yeah.
I'm probably better at growing the business part and actually getting the right systems in place for that. And I'm a very good learner. Like I've always liked to, academically probably not great, but that's because I never liked anything that I liked, right?
Yeah.
But when it came to sport, you know, other things that I did like to do.
Things that you do like.
I can really like sit there and be coached.
Yeah.
And I think business coaching, recruitment coaching and all those type of things, that really helped me to kind of like, I invested in my personal development and professional development quite a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, so you've now been running Rebel for coming up to 3 years?
Yeah, coming to 3 years now.
Three, coming up 4-ish years. So how has your experience been doing this?
My experience has been amazing. Yeah, I've loved it. I've loved every part of it. There's been challenges, you know, as every business has. There's been ups and downs. The downs, you know, I mean, the downs have been as bad as like, you know, as some other businesses' downs, that's for sure. I think it's just great to like just be involved in it. I think like I said, my success is about the family and being able to be around the kids as much as possible, for you to be around the kids as much as possible. And that is what we've ticked off. And I think that's really cool. So everything else from that is just like, it's just fun. You know, I enjoy it.
And, you know, we talked a little bit at the start about last year, which was year 3 in business and having our second baby. So having the business, working with your wife, having 2 young kids, what has been the hardest part of doing that all at the same time?
Yeah, it's just time consuming. Like there's just not enough time.
Not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, there's just not. So therefore you have to prioritize certain things, right? And that's where the challenge of being a business owner and recruiter comes into it, because obviously you got to recruit to get, you know, all the things that you want to do and to make sure the business is running.
Sure.
But there's also things you want to grow, like, you know, Rebel Radio, for example, and also other things in the business to, you know, you want to do other stuff that can like impact the business side. And like last year was just tough when you got 2 little kids. We moved house, and it was just a massive year.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we did amazing in terms of how we, you know, went to events, grew the business still. We operated across Australia. We started operating across Australia on a more national platform, and we also started getting more clients, more candidates. So yeah, no, I think the third year was tough. I think everyone talks about third year in business and how tough it can be, but I definitely think it's a crossroad.
Yeah.
And you could either stay. We could have either stayed in WA and just done recruitment in WA and just been like a local recruitment allied health agency. But I definitely saw bigger visions and wanted to take it to the next level. And that's where the third year, I think, was like that push to that level. And then you're just playing in a different area.
Yeah, for sure. What mistakes do you think you've made along the way?
Yeah, I made a few.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. Can you tell us about them?
I might have been a bit too brash on some like messages.
Yeah.
So for my headhunting, well, you live and you learn. You know?
Sure.
I don't regret it, but I definitely feel like if I could have my time back, or, you know, moving forward,
you would do it differently.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't like do it again. I didn't say anything that intense as well, but like, you know, it is what it is. Other things, I probably would. What else would I do? I probably, like, you know, just like, I guess, money wise, I probably wouldn't be spending it on like certain data, like 12-month subscriptions and things like that, when I could have probably just tested it out for a little bit on a monthly trial, or whatever, those little things as well.
Jumping the gun on
those type of stuff. And yeah, I think it was, well, other than that, I think that's been the big one.
Yeah.
Those are probably the 2 big ones, I think. You're always gonna like learn new stuff, right? And like I said, we're even like just setting, you know, as a recruiter, you have to send messages to people, and like, you know, you might not get. Like even like in our emails, they say unsubscribe and stuff. And as much, you got to sometimes take was that a bad email for them to unsubscribe, or when people say, like, you know,
do they just not want
that's
shit
right.
filling up their inbox?
Exactly right. So you just got to think, like, what's the situation? And I don't try and take it too personal.
Yeah.
If people do take it personal, then I'm like, okay, well, that's not my problem. I'm not trying to like make anything negative. So as long as I I always do this as well. Like, as long as I'm coming from a place of like trying to be helpful,
if you're trying your best,
trying to, like, you know, stir up the honey, like stir up the beehive, then that's fair, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a great ride. I've enjoyed
Yeah.
all of it. I'm going to make more mistakes ahead as well. So.
100%. 3 years in business now. Business has grown.
Yep.
Responsibilities have increased. What do you think has changed for you personally along the way? How do you think you've changed over those 3 years?
I don't know, actually. I don't think I've changed that much as a person. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like as a person, I'm still very the same kind of guy.
It's interesting because I think...
Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Why don't you answer? You should probably answer that question yourself because you see me every day. So what has changed in the last 3 years? Have I become a snob since I've started the business?
No. Look, I think who you are to your core hasn't changed, but your qualities in terms of your work and your drive and your ambition have completely exceeded anything I think I've ever seen in you before. You've never worked half this hard on anything else in your life,
never.
right? And I think that is a big change because you were like the kind of guy that would wake up half an hour before he started work, have a shower and get to work bang on, if not a few minutes late for the time you're meant to start. And now you've got mornings that start at 5 o'clock and, you know, routines that you need to follow to look after your physical and your mental health and get yourself set up for the day and set up for success. So I think those things have changed. Those things weren't around before this.
No, not at all. And I think it's because I care about it the most. Like, I mean, it's my baby in some ways. Like, this is something that, you know, in 2 ways really. One, you know, for me, I love this. I really do love what I do.
Yeah.
And I think I care more. I think that's one thing I learned straight away from when I was doing when I started doing allied health recruitment and comparing myself to competitors and going to events and, you know, doing presentations for free at universities. I realised that I care more about what I'm doing versus other people. Yeah. And that's something that I don't think anyone's going to beat me in. Yeah. So that's something that I like to do. When I speak to candidates and clients and they say to me, or like a candidate, for example, who's about to take a new job, I say, well, I'm going to be here forever. So when you are looking again, because you might not be in this company forever, I will probably be able to help you. And I mean that. And that's probably something that's, you know, really cool. And I guess as well from the other part about the routines and stuff as well, it's like, now we've got a family and got the financial responsibilities on me to kind of make sure we are, you know, going well. That's the extra drive that adds it to it as well. Yeah. So at 33 compared to when you're 23 and you have no, like, well, if I don't go to job and I don't go to work and I'm living with my parents, it doesn't matter. You. Like, you know, so it's a very different situation.
Part of this work weighs on you more than people would think it does.
Yeah, it's definitely the conversation I'm having with people because, like, yes, we get paid. I get paid to find, you know, companies, you know, staff and therapists, and that's amazing. But the hardest part is obviously saying, you know, meeting the companies, making sure they are going to be the right fit for me as well. I don't want to work with people who I don't think I can place with and not get that engagement and that vibe from the start because we're just wasting each other's time. And I know that I'm not the recruiter for everyone. That's completely okay. And same with the candidates as well, and therapists and professionals that I speak to. If they're looking for jobs and I'm trying to find them something and we match it, we go, okay, I can find them a job. And then you do all the work to try and get them something and they just say, and they go, oh no, I'm going to go something else. You're like, damn, like, I know the other company's probably not going to be the right fit. That's the ones like, how do we because I hate trying to
pressure.
Yeah, I hate pushy. Yeah. Like, you know, I'd rather people just make their own decisions. But when I know so much information about about the market and about companies and about what would be a right fit, it just really pains me to see some people going for the wrong fit after how much insight knowledge I know and how much insight knowledge about those people. Yeah. I think that's the toughest one. It weighs on me because I feel to myself could I have done more to get them to meet other people?
But at the end of the day, people have to make their own mistakes.
They do, and that's right. Yeah. But it's also hard because you're like, that could have been a great fit for someone else. Yeah. And I'm just like, let's just match it and let's just do it.
Yeah. What are a few lessons, or you can give me one, you can give me none, whatever, that have only come over time that have stuck with you forever? So these could be lessons for people who might recognise parts of your story in them, might be thinking about taking the leap into business ownership. What are some things that you hold really strong in terms of that resonated with you?
Probably more quotes, if anything. Mm-hmm. So one of them is the things that get scheduled are the things that get done.
Yeah, huge.
That's a big one. The other one is if you are trying to be number one, you need to work like you're number two.
Love that.
Yeah, I like that one. Also, there's another one. I don't know. I think it's I don't know if it's a quote or if it's something I just made up.
Yeah.
But it's more like if I follow the process, the outcomes will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big one for, I think, me, because definitely like all these situations I can go through, as long as I'm following the things that I like to do and like that process that I know that would be, and that's more me providing a genuine service. If I provide that genuine service, it won't matter.
Yeah.
Like, short story, I had an OT once that didn't take a job with me. And I remember he came, it was like really early on.
Yeah.
And he came into the office, it was like, I reckon it was about 7:30 at night. We had a phone call, maybe 8, I don't know what time it was pretty late. And we had a phone call and she said to me that she's not gonna take the job and, you know, and I was like, damn, like, you know. I remember sitting there and you came and she's like, what happened? And I said, yeah, didn't take the role. And then you said to me, how does it make you feel? And I said, it's not a yes now, it's gonna be a yes later.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know what, and that was like more because I made such a good relationship with this person that I knew something will eventuate.
Yeah.
Because I know
out
that,
of that.
yeah, it was just a good, and I just said, and then I think eventually this lady made 3 referrals. She gave me 3 people who were OTs that I ended up putting in jobs. I think she ended up getting a job with me as well.
Yep.
Like all these things happen over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Or maybe in a year. But it just showed to me that like as long as I'm providing that process and that genuine service, it might not work out. And like I said before, it does hurt. But like then at the same time, if I just follow it, I'm sure that I get that will eventuate, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I guess those 3 things, like the scheduling, what things get scheduled, things that you schedule are the things that get done.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be number 1, work like number 2.
Yeah.
And follow the process.
Yeah.
Outcomes will come.
And last question to finish up: how has your definition of success changed over time? And is Rebel, and as things are standing today, successful on your watch?
Yeah, I think, like I said at the start, success for me is being around the family and having the kids, you know, being that, like, I guess, that present dad as much as possible.
Yeah.
And obviously, the time's gone by. You have to be not probably as present during the days, but then the kids get to do more stuff with you. So that's awesome. For you to have that, you know, that connection with the kids. Then I guess success, and I think like for me, business is always going to grow.
Yeah.
It's always going to get bigger and bigger. And how we make sure we maintain those relationships with our clients and our people is the most important thing. I don't want to be a business owner that's so out of touch with what's happening in the market. I definitely want to be someone who knows what's happening on the ground, and you know, being present with the market itself. And so that's very important for our success. But in terms of what success looks like right now, and as it grows as well, it's definitely going to be all about the family now and what we do as a team, but also being able to provide the best service for our allied health professionals. And we do things differently in a lot of different ways. I think what's the most important thing for me is that the people that we work with get provided a really like tailored service that's professional but personable.
Yeah, for sure.
They're the 2 things that I really care about, which I know I do.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I love about that. And I think that's what success is.
For you.
You know, meeting good people and helping them find stuff and same with finding jobs.
So that's the last question that I had for you today. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you wanted to mention? Anything that you think is important for our listeners to hear?
Yeah, for sure. I think, look, Rebel Radio, this is the first episode.
Yep.
So if you can subscribe and like and do whatever you can to continue following us.
Yeah.
This is not just for us, this is for the whole allied health industry, right? So you're not just liking and subscribing to Rebel Radio, you're liking and subscribing to the allied health industry and making sure that you can, you know, be listening to some of the best people in the market. You will get so much out of what we're going to have. Like the guests that we have on are, you know how many guests we got. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. So, no, I think love to talk a bit about my story so you guys know a bit more about me. And I'm really not looking forward to being the host, okay? But I guess I have to, I'll get into it. And maybe we can do like a review and maybe see if you want to be the host after that. But
vote you out, vote me in.
No, but like I said, guys, thank you so much for listening to the first ever episode of Rebel Radio. We hope you like my story.
Yeah.
And look, like I said, subscribe and like, and can't wait to share some amazing guests with you all.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Georgia.
Bye.